Hello everyone, my name is Yishu Huang. Today I am going to introduce you to the Labouchere betting strategy. What is the Labouchere strategy? The Labouchere strategy was created by Henry Labouchere. The strategy is designed to work with even money bets. It is also considered to be a cancellation strategy, or split martingale. Instead of attempting to recover all your losses with a single increased bet like the martingale double-up bet, you will attempt to recover your losses with several bets. You can use this strategy for betting on red, black, even, odd, and small, 1 to 18, big, 19 to 36, as well as other games with around a 50% success chance. Choosing a sequence. If you want to use the Labouchere strategy, you will have to decide how much money you want to win. Split your total amount into a few smaller amounts which add up to your winning goal. For example, if you want to win $10 as your goal, your sequence will be like this: $1, $1, $1, $2, $2, $2, $1. How to set up your betting sequence is entirely up to you. You need to determine the amount of money you eventually want to win as well as the way you establish your betting sequence. To start placing your bet, simply add up the leftmost and rightmost numbers from your sequence and use the summed up amount as your initial betting amount in your sequence above. If you win the bet, cross out the numbers from the sequence you just used. And then your sequence would look like this with numbers $1 and $1 crossed out, $1, $1, $2, $2, $2. For the next spin, you will use the sum of the new leftmost and rightmost numbers to bet, which is $2 plus $1 equals $3. Simply repeat the whole process until you cross out all numbers in the sequence. If you have smoothly crossed out all the numbers set out in the sequence, you then have completed your objective and won the amount you set out to win. If you lose your bet, you simply add the number you just used to bet to the rightmost side of the sequence. For example, if you lose the first bet in your sequence, your new sequence would look like this: $1, $1, $1, $2, $2, $2, $1, $2. This is how the Labouchere strategy works. Once you understand how it goes, it's very simple to proceed. Just don't forget to perform the two main tasks. 1. Cross out the numbers on the left and right sides of the sequence after a win. 2. Add the number you've just bet to the right side of the sequence after a loss. At the end of the sequence, if you keep winning, you will eventually have only one number left. Bet that amount and the sequence will be over. Let's take a closer look at the system and analyze the advantages and disadvantages of this strategy. The Labouchere advantages. The Labouchere strategy is pretty neat and manageable if you don't mess it up in any way. You always have a clear idea of what amount you want to bet, which gives you a sense of winning hope. If you follow the sequence correctly, you may eventually win as much as you lose with a profit. The condition is you don't hit a bad losing streak during the game. This strategy has some similarities with the martingale strategy, but its progression is not as steep as the martingale. Losing streaks are not such a big concern when using the Labouchere strategy because you do not double your bet every time you lose. That is why the strategy is more manageable for roulette players. You can try to test this strategy on online golden casino to get familiar with the strategy. The Labouchere disadvantages. The Labouchere strategy has similar disadvantages to those of other roulette strategies. If you hit a losing streak, your sequence can become a lot longer. Eventually, you will have trouble keeping up with your game, not being able to cross out all your numbers in the sequence. When you hit a losing streak, what you can do is slow down or stop. Keep this in mind: the casino has the house edge while the players do not have. When you hit a good run, you need to collect the winnings and leave the casino, as in the long run, the casino will always have the upper hand. And no betting strategy can be 100% stable. To make you a winner, you need two things: your strategy, and your luck. Of course, you cannot afford to miss either of them. The reverse Labouchere. The Labouchere strategy depends on increasing your bets when you lose. The opposite strategy is the reverse Labouchere strategy, meaning you increase your bet when you win. This is how it works: $1, $1, $1, $2, $2, $2, $1. Your first bet is $2. If you win your bet, add the sum of the bet at the end of the sequence. In your example, it looks like the following: $1, $1, $1, $2, $2, $2, $1, $2. If you lose, erase the numbers you summed up to bet. In your example it looked like this: $1, $1, $2, $2, $2. By using this strategy, you will lose a very small amount of money. If the roulette game turns in your favor, you may win twice as much as you lose. you can potentially win a surprising amount of money from time to time. Unfortunately, the house edge does not let his kind of chance happen very often. And you should not allow your greed to kill your pocket or winnings. That is all for today. See you next time.